Okay, so I'm essentially going to be teaching you 5 things: fading in and out, panning, scaling, how to make a title screen, and then how to take multiple images and turn it into a video. And then also go into some how to batch process images in Adobe Photoshop, and then I'll show you how to export your media and make a video. So the first thing is you can just take the video file from Connor, drag it in, and at the risk of redundancy, I'm going to go through some very similar things that Connor taught about video effects. So go to video effects and you get into effects controls. When you select the clip, it'll allow you to see all the effects. As Connor mentioned, you control the video effects through something called keyframes. So if you look to the right side, there's a panel over here, and you can see your video clip here. Essentially, what keyframes allows you to do is it allows you to control the effects during a certain time period in your clip. So the way you toggle it is this little stopwatch icon here. You click it, or yes, and you can see there it's put a little like diamond shape at the 0, 0 mark. And then for fading in and out, what we want to do is we want to control the opacity. So at the 0 mark, what we'll do is we'll take the opacity and turn it into 0. So just set that there, and then drag the slider to a certain time period in which you want the image to come back. So let's say over here I'm setting it to 3 seconds. So at the 3-second mark, you go back to the opacity, you add a keyframe. So you toggle it by turning on the stopwatch, and then every subsequent keyframe is done by this diamond shaped icon here. So you click on it. So now you have, again, this chunk selected. And right now it has opacity 0 for that chunk. So if we want to fade it back in, put it to 100. So it's pretty simple. And now when you play it, it'll fade in. So, and I'll do that again so you can see how it fades out. So again, click that. You can set it at 100. And then over here, we'll set it to 0. So dragging it back. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about fading in or out? Great. Okay. So panning and zooming in is essentially based on the same concepts. It has to do with the motion option. Again, Connor showed you the position and scale. So going back to our video clip editor here, you toggle the keyframe by starting the stopwatch, and you can then drag the slider at some arbitrary point in time. So here I'm going to say, again, at like 3 seconds, and I'm going to add my other keyframe. And again, so now I'm clicking the diamond shape. So what I'm going to do for panning is, once you've selected that final keyframe, you can click on the image and then manually drag it. And what you should be seeing right now is the center should be dragging a line from the actual center of the video, and place it wherever you want, and that will give you your panning. So let's test it out. Oh, I'm not sure if everyone can see that. Yeah, so it's panning. And for zoom, same principle again. So I'm just going to take the keyframe here. We'll set the scale as 100 and then go forward 2 seconds and set the scale to 50%. Sorry? Did I forget to keyframe it? Oh, okay. Right, I forgot to put the keyframe for that. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so set that for 150. Okay. So that should scale it in. Or not. Or not. Okay, let's try that again. I'm going to clear this. Oh, okay. Yeah, Connor just pointed out that I forgot to put the stopwatch on. Alright, so there we go. Stopwatch. It's at 100. And then put the scale at 50 for the second keyframe. Alright, so we'll test this. Hopefully it works. Yes, there we go. Okay, does anyone have any questions about zooming in? Good. Now, I think, okay, title page. So title page is really easy. Essentially, Premiere has a built-in menu for creating titles. So title, new title, default still. You can give it a name, and then you can import your own fonts, and then give it a title page, and then exit, and it automatically brings in your title page over here. So you can then drag it in and overlay it like you would any other image.
Where do you select it?
Where did I select the text?
I mean, create that and put it together.
Okay, so it's just down there here. I'm not sure how to import your own text, but I'm sure you can do it. Nope, lost it. Okay, so that's title page. And I guess the last thing is... Okay, so now we're just going to teach you how to take in multiple images and turn it into like, I guess like a stop motion animation. So one of the files that you should have downloaded is called, in a folder called TIFF. So if you go to import and find that folder. Oh, wait, sorry. Okay, here it is. So before I go into this, though, I'll talk a little bit about the file types, because essentially I was working on a project in which I wrote code to export images at every frame, and the export function exported as PDFs. So for whatever reason, Premiere does not recognize PDFs. So if you do work in a file format that is incompatible with Premiere, you're going to need to turn it into a TIFF file or something else that is compatible. So for myself, I had 2,000 image files. So I think it's important to know how to turn all those files into a TIFF or whatever. So I'm going to go into Adobe Photoshop. Jesus Christ, all right.
He's a PC user.
Yeah. So go into Adobe Photoshop, and if you go into scripts, there's something called image processor. And in your image processor, you can select a folder of all your files, and then over here, and also select where it's going to be saved, and then you can automatically convert it to JPEG, PSD, or as a TIFF. And you can also like compress the file size, etc. So that's extremely useful. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So you go to File, Scripts, and then Image Processor. So once you have all your files into some sort of Adobe Premiere compatible format, you can go to File, Import, and then find your frames. So the two things you're going to need for this to work is, number one, it has to be some sort of compatible file, but secondly, the images have to be sequentially numbered. So over here you can see that it's 1694, 1695, etc. So all you have to do is select the first frame, and then over here there's an option called numbered stills. So you select that, and Premiere then knows that all the images in the file are stills for an animation. So that automatically brings it in over here. You can see it, frame 1694.tiff, and it's automatically a movie file. So now you can drag it in and work on it like you would any other movie file. I'm going to change the speed duration for this, so it's slightly longer. Okay. So you should have something that looks like this. Is that the file that you guys got? Does everyone have that? Or is anyone actually following along? Okay, does anyone have any questions about that? Oh, okay. Is it in speed duration or is it somewhere else? Okay, it's gonna come in.
If you right click. Is this?
Yeah.
It's not that. Does this not go? Okay, I can't figure it out now. If you want to do stop motion, let me know. I've done it before, and I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. So the final thing I'm going to show you how to do is export your video. The only tricky thing about this is you have to select your sequence, which is Formlab tutorial. Yes. Yeah. So select your sequence and then go to File Export. If you don't select your sequence, it's not going to work. Export media, and then over here you have all your settings for how you want to export it. Right. So, and you can choose your quality, etc. And you should be able to see a preview over here. Okay. Any questions?
Sorry. The still image default duration is in the preferences. So it automatically defaults when you open it to 150 frames for one image.
Okay.
So if you were to Premiere Pro file preferences, you should open up a window under General.
File preferences?
No, Premiere Pro.
Okay.
Preferences file.
Yeah.
General. And yeah, the still image default
I see
duration,
it.
150 frames.
Yeah.
It's video.
Okay. Okay.
So if you are wanting to do a stop motion, it's usually 15 frames per second,
Okay.
which means that if you really want to do stop motion, one image is lasting, well, you need 15 images in today's 1 second
Okay.
if you're doing animation.
Thank you. Okay, so if anyone didn't catch that, Terry just showed us how to control the frames per second, 15 frames per second. Right? Okay.
You'd be doing that if you dragged in a whole bunch of images into Premiere. He made it into basically a video beforehand and then treated it as a video file. And so you would edit it as a video file, not as a stop motion animation. That's the difference between the two processes in which
So if you bring
May
in a
was
whole bunch
talking about and he's talking
right,
about.
if you
Yeah.
bring a whole bunch of stills and you don't want to have to resize them, or you want them all exactly the same size, that's where you would determine that.
Okay. That's it for me. Does anyone have any questions about Adobe Premiere in general? Okay. We're going to go now to After Effects.